Hello everyone, my name is Nikhil. Welcome to my channel Salesforce Musketeer. In this video, we are going to learn how REST API calls can be made to Salesforce and how can we expose our services so that they can invoke our services and perform the logic they want. So let's get started. So there are two type of REST API services. One is standard, which is provided by Salesforce, and another one is a custom REST API. So either external party can call to standard REST API or custom REST API, depends on the business requirement. In standard REST API, we don't need to do any coding, so this is the preferred way for connecting with our Salesforce org. However, there's a limitation that you can only handle one individual record, and there's no custom logic that you can perform. It would be a simple DML insert, update, upsert from the JSON values which you provide. Here the example shows the service, the URL that is being used or by the third-party application to invoke a standard REST API. In custom REST API, certain limitations that are provided by standard REST API are taken care of by exposing the HTTP method by writing our Apex code. Here we can have our own business logic and we can have handle multiple transactions or multiple records in a one transaction. Before we jump into demo, it's important to learn these HTTP methods that are being used in REST APIs. One is HTTP header. It's not a method, but when we use HTTP, we have to configure the header, which contains some important information such as authorization you are using, the content type, so you are using JSON or XML that you need to tell. It also contains some like refresh access token, which is a part of authorization to connect with the Salesforce org. Now, some certain methods that are being used is get, post, put, delete. So in get, you retrieve, you read the information, and in post, you create it. In patch, you update the existing fields of existing records. And in put, you upsert it, you either create or you update the record. In delete, it's only deletion. And REST resource is used as a decorator on the top of the class to tell that this is the web services that can be used by third-party application. So all we need to pass to a third-party application are few things. One is the class name, the URL. Basically, they need a URL, and to construct a URL or call a REST API, in that URL they will have the access token, and for that we need to provide these things: username, password, our web service name, and the access token. These are the things we need to provide. So these are some of the key details. One is that REST API is synchronous, and it also used for request and reply. So if you know platform events, it's opposite of that, which is asynchronous, that it creates a different thread and it publishes an event and then it forgets, it doesn't wait for the response. Here it's opposite, that in one transaction it will send a request and wait for the response in that transaction, and then and it's going to be synchronous. It contains a header which contain authorization like OAuth and token, which and data in JSON, and this we will see in the demo. This is the example of URL that is being used by the third-party application, that also we will see in the demo. First, we'll go with a very simple demo where we will show how standard REST APIs can be evoked via Workbench. So I'll just come to Workbench first. Uh, so here I will change this to service data 5.5 as object account. So whichever account, whether standard object or custom object, you need to give the API name of that object. And then I will use post. Workbench can only support guest, get, post, and let me see which. There are three methods it support. Let me log in again. Give me 1 minute. So I've logged in successfully. I'll just use account and I will use patch just to tell you what are the Okay, I'll go again here, utilities, REST Explorer. Let's go with simple one first, post. And I need to provide a JSON. Let me construct a JSON here, name. I'll say, let me take a company. I can take Apple Inc. and then comma, and I will say which city. Okay, so it should match with the API name of the fields in the account. So it should be billing city, and I will say Seattle. And these two, and then I'll execute. Okay, service not found. Maybe services. We are making a little mistake. Okay, I don't know what was the reason. So I'll copy this ID and go to our org to check. So this is my org. I'll provide the ID which we got from our workbench. So if you see here, we got Apple Inc. account got created and the billing city is Seattle. So we have seen how we can invoke standard REST API without writing any code, how we can insert it. We can also, if you want, we can just use this ID and get the information back by just using get and provide the ID here. And on click of this, we get the information back. And if you click on billing city, we'll get the Seattle. And that's how we can use. We copy this. I'll put patch to update the existing field. Let's see what error it gives. Okay, let's see. Let me, instead of Seattle, let me give another city. Let's say Dallas, and let me execute it. And let's try to see how it looks like. So I just refreshed and see the patch has updated our billing address successfully. Similarly, we can use other methods, put to update, and we can also use delete. So this covers us how we can use standard REST API without writing any single piece of code. Now we will see how we can use custom REST API where we have to write a code and expose the services. So in this demo, we will see custom REST API. And as I said, the benefit of custom REST API is you can do multiple record insertion or update in one transaction. So I'll try to demo you how you can insert two accounts in one transaction. So I have this sample code which I will explain. I'll copy this code to my Apex class and see how we can use it. So I copied pasted my code to a new class which is demo September REST API, and I've decorated with REST resource, and the URL mapping is this. This is the name of the web service, and that is what they are going to, external service is going to call. You can give any name here, and that will consider this as a label of this class. And one thing to make sure is that you have global, otherwise you will get an error. And you can decorate any HTTP method by this HTTP post. I cannot make another HTTP post method. If I try to save, it will give me error. So we can have HTTP post, patch, get, whatever, whichever method we want to use. So in this one, we are passing this list of JSON body. Why list? Because we want to give multiple account values or records in one JSON. So if you see that JSON body is a wrapper, and I have only two fields in it, name and city. So I'm going to provide multiple name and cities, and then I'm going to create multiple accounts. And coding is very simple here. So I'm going to use for loop in this and retrieve name and city and insert account in for loop, although it should be out to bulkify it. But for the sake of the demo, I'm just going to insert two accounts and then I'm going to insert in a for loop. But in your project, you must write insert outside for loop and bulkify the code. And then I'm storing the IDs here and then I'm returning the IDs here. So let's see the demo how it works. So this time we are going to use different services. Apex REST is the keyword we are going to use, and we are going to use demo September. Let me copy it. Let me copy this one and put it here. And if you put this too, let's see what happens. Oops, the method should be post, as we have HTTP post. JSON parse error. Oh yeah, I know why. Give me 1 minute, let me get a right JSON. I'm going to use this JSON, but I need to explain to you why I have in this format. So in JSON, the square bracket means array or list collection. So we are using collection so that we can create two accounts at a time. And there are two embedded JSONs in it. One with this name and city. I'll give Apple, let's say Apple Inc. 4, Apple Inc. Child 5, and let's say one office is in Austin and one is in I'll say Las Vegas. And then this should match with your method parameter. Let me show you. So this should match JSON body list. If this doesn't match, it will give error. Second thing is the name and the city. If you see, this is a wrapper and it is a list, so that's why I have a square bracket here, and I'm providing the name and the city here. So let me copy this and go to Workbench and put it here. Let's see this time. So I got accounts created. I will verify it. Here I'll go. If you see here, so that account is created. Let me open details and check the name here. So if you see, account name is Apple Inc. 4. So we got two accounts created in one single transaction. So that, and we can also have a custom logic before insert. So you can put any business logic here in this method, which you cannot do in a standard REST API. Now let's proceed and see how we can do the same thing in Postman. One very important thing in Postman is the URL. I need to provide a right URL, considering Postman basically is used as a third-party application. Consider it as that, and we are providing them the URL, and they are going to call our custom REST API. So we'll construct a URL to give it to a Postman first. Let's see how we can do that. So this is how the basic URL should look like with login.salesforce, and grant type should be password, and we need to provide client ID and client secret key, and the username, which should be generally the integration username. We create a specific user for integration APIs, and then we provide the password. So what is client key and client secret key? So any third-party application which wants to connect with Salesforce, we if you want to use OAuth, we can have to create connected app. So in that connected app, we can get client secret and client ID created. I'll just show how we can create that. So this is the one of the connected apps Postman demo which I already created. And what we can do, if I want to create it again, I'll just go to App Manager and click on New Connected App. I'll go here, click on new connected app, and let me give postman demo 4 my email address, let's say, and we need to enable OAuth setting, and you can put https, I'm just putting random, www.google.com, and then you get the access you want to give. Full access is not recommended, but you can give full access if you want, or basic access is this. These two accesses you can give just so that it can only do these two things: API calls and refresh token and this. And then that's it. You need to click on save. This will take 10 minutes for OAuth setting to be enabled. So wait for 10 minutes. After that, you can establish connection. Maybe this time it will might give error. Once you create this, click on manage consumer key, and there you will get the client key and client secret key. It says client ID, which is nothing but the, let me get the my verification. I got the code. Let me provide the code. So the code is after I provided the code, I can see the consumer key and the consumer secret. You need to copy that and put it in your here, and then the client secret key, and then the username, and then the password. Once you have that created, then you need to go to Postman, and you need to provide that login URL here, and this will automatically, and then you choose post and click on send. Automatically these key parameters will be populated. You don't have to do anything. Just make sure when you provide a password, you also provide a refresh token along with it. So once you provide this, then you will get the access token here. And once you get this access token, copy this access token and go to the header section here. You have to manually type content hyphen type, and then write, the spelling is wrong here, so you will put application slash JSON, and then you need to write bearer and paste whatever we have copied. So once we have that, let me take you to the one where we have already configured. So if you see here, we have instance URL, which we will copy it to call header, and we will save it in a notepad first. What else we need? We need this access token. Copy it here. So I went to header section, provided my post, which is the base URL. I copied it from here, this, and then you can also copy then the refresh access token here after writing bearer. So once you have this, you need to provide the body. So I'll go to body here, and if you see here, I just need to change the account custom to our class which we created. Let me go there. So it's account demo rest. I will go to Postman again and put it here like this. Now and I'm going to use here Apple Postman for save, and then click on send. So it says session expired. Let me just get the access token again because I'm using the previous one, and then I will update the token. So I provided the new access token in the header. So once I provided the new access token, then I just change the city and then click on send, and I see the two IDs I have gotten in response, and then I will just simply go and check that out. Let's see. So if you see, the account name is Apple Postman E, which we have created from the Postman successfully. Okay, so now so far we have seen how we can call standard API using Workbench and custom REST API also using Workbench. Then we see how we can use Postman to call our custom REST API. Now here what we are going to do is we are going to use another two Salesforce org, Salesforce org A and Salesforce org B, and then Salesforce org B will invoke custom REST API using named credential. Let's see how. So now we will uh, try to connect Salesforce org B with Salesforce org A using REST API. And whatever we have done in our previous demo where we have used custom REST API, invoked custom REST API to pass the JSON via Postman, and then we got two accounts created and we got two IDs back. Now we will do the similar thing, basically same thing, but using another Salesforce org. So consider that my Salesforce org A, which is a red theme. So let me show you. So this red theme is Salesforce org A, and I have another org open in front of me, which is a blue theme, and consider this as a Salesforce org B. So what are we going to do? First, we are going to create a connected app at Salesforce org A, and the client ID and the consumer key which we will get here, that we will provide at auth provider Salesforce org B, and use a name credential where we will store these values. Basically, this is used to hide your key details like username, password, and all those things. And then using a keyword callout, I'll call HTTP REST API of Salesforce org A. So let's get started. Let me go to connected app. I'll type app manager. So I will create a new connected app. I'll say Salesforce B connector. I'll provide my email ID and I'll give this enable OAuth. Let me give full access and API and refresh token. For now, I will put https www.google.com. I have to change this, but I will change this once I in Salesforce org B I provide auth provider and name credential, then I'll get a callback URL there. Then I will update this. But as of now, these are the information enough. So I will just click on save, click on continue. This will give me client ID and client secret key. So clicking on here, so I provided the verification code and got this key, and I will come to my Salesforce org B, which is a blue theme, and here I will go to setup. Here I will write auth provider click on new. Here the auth provider is Salesforce, as we are connecting Salesforce. If we use something else like Facebook, then we will choose that. I'll choose Salesforce A credential. Now I have to provide the consumer key and the secret key, which I get it from here. Let me provide it. So I provided both. Now I will select this. I will give refresh token full, which is a default scope, and then I will click on save. So once I get this, I'll copy this callback URL here, and I will provide it in our app. I will click on edit. So this is very important, that what happens here is that when on name credential, when I click on save, it will take me to the this uh, this Salesforce URL where I have to log in. Once I log in, then I will come back to my Salesforce B org. So that's why we need this callback URL. Now I will click on name credential, and I will click on new. Salesforce A Connect, and the URL I have to give here is, it's the URL of my Salesforce A. Let me get that URL. I might have it here handy. Yeah, this is a URL. This is the Salesforce A URL I'm giving on Salesforce org B, and identity type named principal OAuth 2, and this is going to be the one which we just created, auth provider. So let's see, we created this, and then it's pending start authentication flow on save. Yes, that's what we want. Let me see, it's URI mismatch. I think this is taking time at Salesforce. Let's give few minutes, and we will click on save again. So after waiting for 2-3 minutes, I clicked on save again, and it brought me here. Maybe I can show you again. So I didn't do anything else. I just change this name label, revert it. Everything is same. So this will take me to log into my Salesforce org A, and I will choose the Salesforce org A username and password here. So this is a one-time thing you have to do. You don't have to do this all the time. Once it's authenticated, so you don't have once it's authenticated, you don't have to do it again. So Salesforce B is connecting to all this REST API, this. So we'll click on allow. Now if you see, this authentication status is authenticated as my username. Now this can be used in the our coding when we use HTTP callouts to connect with our Salesforce org A. So let's go to developer console and see how we can invoke our custom REST API. Now I'm here. I'm going to create a new Apex class. Let's say test demo custom API call. I will copy a code which I've written already. Uh, Give me 1 minute. So I've copied the code, but before that I also created one more class. This class I will just use to create a JSON. So if you see here, the expectation in our previous demo, we saw that we have to provide JSON in this format, where we have a JSON body list and then the name key values in the array here. So in order to create a JSON like that, I have JSON body list as a variable, which is a list of a class custom wrapper, and that has name and city. So the first thing I did was I created this JSON here by providing the name and city. Let me choose test demo September 2022 and give me another name here, 13. Here I'll say Idaho, and here I'll say Smoky Mountain. So this will prepare a JSON exactly like the JSON we see it here. And other thing we have done is we have created HTTP request and we have set three things, which is the endpoint, second is set method, and third is set header. And we have put this in the request set body and send it to the response, and we will see what response we get. We should get the IDs back. The important thing to see here is the name credential has made it so easy. You don't have to provide username and password in your URL. All you need to do is you just need to write a keyword call out and just call this name credential, which is here Salesforce. Let me check. Salesforce A Connect, and the rest of the things remain same. Services Apex REST, and I'll see what I had here, Apex Demo REST. So the rest of the things remain same, which we did in the Postman. Here we are providing callouts, and the method is post and it's JSON. So let's see how it works. Say test. Let's execute this. It says connect base Salesforce. If you see here, the response is 200, which means it's success. And this is the JSON which we provided, and this is the ID which we have got back. So let me go to our Salesforce org A. So this is our Salesforce org A, and I will just provide the ID here, and let's see. See, now if you see, the account has been created with the name we gave and the city we gave as Smoky Mountain. So this got created. So this completes our demo. I'll just quickly summarize what we did in this video. First, we used standard REST API using Workbench, where we didn't have to code anything. We provided JSON, and we can use get and post, and we can simply either retrieve data or we can simply post. Then we used custom REST APIs. In that, we have made a custom web service by providing REST resource as a decorator on the Apex class. And then after that, we have created method HTTP post. In that, were expecting a JSON, and we retrieved values from JSON and inserted it. Now we use Workbench to provide that JSON and to call that service. The only difference is we had service, the URL was services Apex REST, and in the standard one it was data as object and then the object name. So after calling from Workbench, we did the same thing from the Postman. The difference here is first we log into Salesforce with our username and the password and the client ID and the client secret. To get client ID and secret, we use connected app. Once we get the access token, we provided the access token in the header, and where we had a content type this, and then we provided the application token, and then we sent the body in the response, sorry, in the request, and we in the response we get the IDs back. Same thing we did by connecting Salesforce org B with A. We could have used just this URL, same like we are using here, but it's better to use name credential so that you can hide all this information. And in that, what we did, we created another connected app, and then we used auth provider, and then we used name credential, and then we in the call out in the coding we just provided the name credential name, and we created account from Salesforce org B to Salesforce org A. Thank you for watching my video. Uh, you can watch some more exciting videos on integration architecture. Please subscribe my channel and keep watching new videos. Thank you.